What's up, everybody? This is Sheldon Smith, and we are doing the making of a star. This is our second week we're doing it. If you would like to see the last entry I did, you can go to my website. It's www.srbpublications.webs.com, and there's an icon on there that says voice behind the book. You can read through it. It'll give you the entry, and then at the bottom you can look at the broadcast that we did last week. Alright. Remember, like I said, the entries that I'm reading took place before the book was written, and a lot of it leads up to what's going on inside of the book. So don't look to find these in the book, but when you read the book, a lot more of it will make sense to you. Alright, Diary of Calvin, second entry, and I'm going to read it for you. It says, Dear Diary, Tamika and I are officially a couple. It took me a week or so to ask her out, but I did. Would I say that I'm in love? I don't know. Of course, how could you not say you're in love if you're dating someone? I know I may sound like a hopeless romantic, but who wouldn't if you hadn't had a relationship in years? I sometimes think of my perception of life and relationships. What's life without relationships, or relationships without life? Or how can one progress through life avoiding the emotional drag that some relationships bring? Tamika's a nice girl, but somewhere in the back of my mind, I wonder just how long this relationship may last. Maybe I'm overthinking it, but it's just food for thought. My poetry is getting better, and I thank the Speakeasy for that. Maybe one day I can make a career as a poet, or even as a star on stage. Maybe. That's enough for tonight, diary. Signed, Calvin. Alright, here's what's going on here. Last time we talked, Calvin was thinking about Tamika. Said she was an interesting girl he met in his accounting class, and he wanted to date her. This entry here talks about how he has hooked up with her. But in the process of hooking up with her, he starts to think about the concept of relationship. He talks about, and I'm going to read it again, what he says, sometimes I think on my perceptions of life and relationship. What's life without relationships, or relationships without life? Now, thinking about that right there, what's life without relationships, and relationships without life? Then he talks about how he could avoid the emotional drag that some relationships may bring. I just feel like with any relationship, and we're not talking about boyfriend or girlfriend, any relationship that you're in, I mean, there is some kind of an emotion involved, and I'm not saying it's a bad emotion or a lustful emotion. It's just emotion, period. You know, when you're talking about relationships. But the key is to create a balance with relationships. You know, how to be able to create a balance in relationships. In school, one of my professors gave us the definition of health and wellness. He said health is the purpose of a thing, whereas wellness is the balance. So when you talk about relationships, you're talking about from a healthy relationship perspective. What's the purpose of the relationship? Wellness in a relationship. What's the balance? You know, and I feel like that's where emotions and all those kind of things have to come in to create a balance in a relationship. And in this one here, he talks about how in the back of his mind he kind of wonders if the relationship's going to last long. Now, that's not to say if it's so much on his end or on her end, but it's just a thought that, you know, how long will this relationship last? If it lasts long at all, you know. So, with Calvin, we're talking about him progressing as a star. And I know you might be thinking, well, what does this have to do with, you know, being a star? Well, in order to be able to express yourself to other people, you know what I mean, you got to have some kind of relationship with people. And you got to have some kind of experience as well. You know, all the relationships in his life, or in your life, or in my life, you know, like I say, it doesn't have to be boyfriend or girlfriend, but relationships, period, have an effect on you in some way, and it helps to build an experience of some sort. So, on that thought, just thinking about it, what's life without relationships, or what's relationships without life? And the key between both of them is to be able to create a balance. And that's what we're striving for. To be a star, you have to be able to create a balance. And again, you can be a star at whatever it is that you want to do. You don't have to be in Hollywood to be a star. Whatever it is that you enjoy doing, you can be a star at it. But in the progress of being a star, you've got to have a balance. So, this is our second entry right here. I posted on the website, again, www.srbpublications.webs.com, and you can look at the first entry and the second entry. Alright, this is Sheldon Smith, Making of a Star, second entry. Till next time, take care of yourself, peace, love, and I'm out.